Do women really need other women? Yes, and here is why. Women are meant to gather together, and when they do that, they help inspire each other, they increase oxytocin levels, and they actually hold a space for other women to express their emotions. So there are several things that are important for women to gather together. When we can feel safe, that gives us a place of safety, security, and connection, which are so important for a woman. I have healed several betrayal wounds from other women in the last few years. And as I was learning and doing this work, I started to realize that I could trust again. But I also realized for as long as I can remember, I never trusted women. It was ingrained deep within me that I needed to go it alone and trust no one. I remember hearing that from my own mother. Like you can't trust anyone. They're all out to get you. That was her belief system and she lived by it. And a few years ago, I learned that how much that was damaging me to just go it alone and to be the one man band. I was getting exhausted and my health was struggling and it was just not a fun place to be in. And so I realized that I had cut out a lot of my friends and I needed to remedy that and I needed to be able to reach out when I was feeling in a spot where I really needed somebody to hear me and just listen. I don't want anybody fixing anything. I just wanted listening. And that's what women can provide is that listening ear. So as I started on this journey, I learned that one of the reasons that we do this as women is because it was taught to us as a form of survival. So if we wind the clock back in medieval times, um, there were evil men who decided that they wanted to take over and be dominant. And they realized if they could diminish women, if they could silence women, and if they could objectify women, that they would be able to control them. And in order to do this, they started kind of pitting women against each other because whoever was found not obeying the rules, right, they were put to death. And so women wanted to be safe. They wanted to keep their posterity going. They wanted to be, I guess, not the chosen one, but they wanted to survive, right? That became their survival mechanism. And so they wanted desperately to hang on to their families and their things. And so they started turning in other women so that they could be safe. If they were focused on someone else, they wouldn't be focused on me. And so that's what happened is that it all got going because they started to pit women against each other. And we as women still hold on to this in our DNA today. And so even though we're not still living in those times, even though we haven't necessarily had anybody try to put us to death, that DNA is still within us and we can still have the emotions of those feelings come up with us and the terror even of like feeling like if I'm betrayed, it could cost me everything. And it's because somewhere in our generational line, follow it back, there was somebody that had to deal with this. And so it still comes through. Just like your blonde hair and your blue eyes is part of your genetic makeup, so are some of these events that happened in life. And so we can still be carrying out some of those same things. The cost of this um, evil device has been very immense, and we've gotten away from trusting ourselves and working together. But that is the very place where the beauty lies. And so when we can feel safe with other women, we all benefit. Beautiful things are created, and intuition can be heightened, and it can be um, turned on when we're around other women who are able to trust that intuition in their own space. And we get a chance to be able to trust ourselves a little bit more when we can be around women that do that. So, gathering as women in a safe and trusting way is very healing on so many levels. It heals you, it heals your prosperity to come because you won't be passing it on, and it will heal the past generations as you learn to live in camaraderie and connection. So, the other thing that as we gather together as women that happens is we create oxytocin. And women thrive on oxytocin. It's that hormone that actually shuts down the cortisol hormone, which is known as the death hormone. And so we need more oxytocin in our life. We need more places where we feel safe to gather, to be seen, to be heard, to be authentic. And we need to stop beating each other up. We need to start loving and embracing one another. It isn't about how fancy your shoes are. It isn't about how fancy your makeup is. Every person is unique. Every person deserves a chance. They deserve love. And that's what we as women can offer one another. So we need to make sure that we are having this space for gathering. That's why, as women, you want to gather your family. That's why you want to gather your neighborhood or your friends. And you want to have girls' night outs because that is what's going on within your body is that oxytocin is rising, cortisol is going down, you are starting to feel good inside, and it's a win win situation. So, this is one of the things that I will be providing in my Sedona retreat coming up September 16th through the 20th. You can check out the link in the comments below if you're interested. And also, you can head over to my website for toolstoempower.com. And I have freebies in there. I have a gratitude journal. I also have a free anxiety breath session that you can listen to and just relax and reset yourself. And I thank you for following along. If this has been helpful, please share it. And as always, like and subscribe. It helps to grow my channel. And I really am trying to help women feel their worth and fill their space and know how important they truly are. As always, you are meant to be empowered and you are loved. Hope you have a great day. See you next time.